Hey guys, it's Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. Today, we are finally going to start our new tong project. So what I have here are two 8-inch lengths of 5/8 square stock steel. And these are going to be the two sides of our tongs. So we are going to be making a set of tongs very similar to this in design. These are a set of bolt tongs. They are specifically sized for 5/8-inch steel. So if I put this piece in here and I close it, it's like really, really strong, and it's not wobbly or anything. It's a really good set of tongs for holding that 5/8-inch stock. However, once I start drawing it down, if I were to put it back in here on the skinny side, I wouldn't be able to hang on to it very securely. So I have a set of universal tongs, which are these guys right here. And my set of universal tongs, it's really old. It's probably one of the first things that I made, and they're really wobbly. They don't work very well. So yeah, we are going to remake our set of universal tongs. So we are going to start at the tip of the new piece of steel, and we are going to squish it down on one side, all along the length of the piece of steel. And we kind of want to leave ourselves about the length here, maybe a little bit further of room so that we can draw out the round circle bolt section and the jaws of these tongs. And we're going to start tapering that rein down from that like longer side of the material. We are using the press to taper the rein. 20 tons of force is smashing down that material on the round-sided dies and creating raised bumps. I was going to stick this piece in the fire, but I think what we're actually going to do is we are going to compare the size of the two of them. So we've actually grown about 1 inch. So that's it's a pretty decent amount of growth in that short of time. I'm not getting nearly as tired because I'm having to hand hammer everything. So if you have a bum shoulder or elbow or whatever, a press might be an option for you. They can be relatively cheap. You can actually purchase one from Harbor Freight relatively cheap. I think I paid $300 for the frame, and it did come with a hydraulic jack. And what I did was I replaced that hydraulic jack with a pneumatic jack, and they fit exactly the same. There was also like a little round stock plunger that was attached to the bottom bar, and I had to cut that off, and I had to create my own set of dies for it. So I used tool steel, and I created a set of combination dies, and I welded a plate that I could change those dies on. So I have a couple different sets of dies that I could use if I wanted to. So it's a very convenient tool, but it's kind of an advanced tool, and it can be a little bit on the dangerous side. It is a 20-ton press, so if I were to stick my hand in there, that would crush my bones pretty easily. So it's something that you need to be, aware of and have a healthy respect for. Focusing on the raised sections of the piece of steel. squishing those raised sections to kind of push that material out. Turning that crinkle cut into a much longer crinkle cut fry. We will also bring the piece over to the anvil face to kind of flatten it out. When I built the dies for this press, they weren't exactly even, so when they come together, they're kind of offset a little bit, and so that actually curves your material as you run it through the press. And so every once in a while, I have to bring the steel to the anvil face to kind of straighten it out, getting a nice flat length of steel. And the beauty of using the press for tapering is that there is a natural wedge shape that forms in our material. And the reason for that is because the longer the steel is outside of the forge, the more it starts cooling down, right? So the tip of the material is always going to be so much hotter than towards the end of the material, the end of the bar. So we are actually getting a lot more movement towards the tip than we are when we get towards the tongs. So after you get a lot of drawing from the press, you kind of have to true it up on the face of the anvil. By truing it up, you're getting rid of lumps and bumps and all of those little ridges that form when you're using the press, the round dies on that press. You can kind of do a little bit of it with the flat dies on the press, but it's just so much better when I use the flat of the anvil. It's so much easier to control. So we put these guys quarter facing downward onto the face of the anvil, and then start hammering the second corner, or the opposite corner. And now that we have 8 facets on these handles, what we're going to do is we're going to start taking all of the facets off of here and rounding the whole thing out. And this is going to draw it out just a little bit further. We're probably going to gain maybe about 1/4 to 1/2 inch while we're doing this. And I think that'll do for just a little bit. We should just be able to handle that for a bit and use this as a template for the other side that we are going to start drawing out. All right. So we've got plenty of heat on that new piece of steel. What we're going to do is we're going to squish this center section and kind of create the jaw section and the boss section, which is what you call the place where you put the rivet and the hole for the hinge of the tongs. All right, so we are going to hang off the edge of the anvil. And what we're doing right now is we are kind of shaping that boss section of our tongs. So we now have a nice shelf right in here, where the edge of our boss section, where we're going to put that rivet, can sit there. We've got a little bit of movement, so I'm going to fix that so it doesn't start warping too badly as we go. But what we're doing is we're kind of trying to make sure that the handle of the tong area, or like the handle of the tong, is not going to be in the way of the rivet area. So we can kind of create a scissor shape with these tongs. And the handles will stay out of the way of each other. And this is where we're going to do that offset. So we're going to go corner to corner. And we've got that nice offset started right here. We've got that diagonal. So if I were to take the other side and bring it over, we've got those two identical shelves. So when we put them together, those two diagonals will fit right against each other, and we'll be able to put that rivet right down in that center. So we've got our offsets, or our offset reins, and then the necks are nice and offset as well. So that will make a beautiful set of tongs. So I think we're at a point where I just need to clean these two up with the grinder. So we're going to come over here and we're going to bring this like so. Ugh. like to use a piece of wood when I am actually drilling for metal. And the reason I like to do that is because that way I can go directly into the metal and it doesn't cause me any issues like, you know, trying to find the Pritchell hole on the anvil or anything like that. Normally I would do this on a table, but I don't have one available right now. Oh, that's the wrong direction. It helps when you pay attention to which direction you have your drill going when you're changing bits. Alrighty. Let's see here. So we've got a nice hole, real nice and started there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some oil and I'm going to do that to kind of lubricate our drill bit so it doesn't get too hot. And that's really important when you're using a metal on metal. And we've got a partial all the way through. All right, so those are nice and clean. And we can kind of apply them onto the drill bit and kind of see how they fit. Like that. And those look really nice. So I think that'll work very well. So we are going to start by making a rivet. I'm going to start really, really small because the last rivet that we made was really too long. So if I start small, I can always increase the length. Okay, yeah, so we're focusing on the back end of this rivet because we know that the front end is the size that we want. So we're kind of taking out lumps and bumps in any area that's a little bit thicker. All right, so now we are going to compare the two again. All right, so that's a really nice length right there and a good width. So if I take this guy, that should work pretty nicely. I should, in theory, be able to rivet those two together pretty nicely. Make sure that we can open and close them as we're going. And we'll hammer down those heads. See if I can't open these and close them on this here. Okay. So we're trying to hammer these guys together, both sides. of this back because this side was longer than the other side. We want to make sure that they are evenly spaced, and if we look down the set of tongs, we can see if they are straight, and they look relatively straight. Will it hold in there decently? It's not wanting to. Well, now it is. It looks pretty good there now. So I think it'll be all right. So overall, I think those are okay.